We're here to talk about the reasons why I think people hate this Dewalt track saw and the reason why I love it. And if at any time during this video, if you have a point that you'd like to share or a point that I've missed, make sure to drop it in the comment section and I will respond to you. So I've owned this track saw for approximately 6 months or maybe 9 months, I can't remember. It was actually gifted to me, so I didn't actually use my money to purchase this, but I really value this beast right here. Number one reason why I love this track saw is because of the build quality. This thing is pretty solid. Most bases on these track saw are made out of plastic, but not this one. This one is made out of pure metal. What kind of metal? I don't know. I just know it's metal and it's hard. So that's very awesome. The caging for the blade is also made of metal as well. So this thing is pretty solid as far as quality builds go. There's some plastic on it, but majority for me, the areas that matter to me are metal. So this thing is really freaking solid. It's pretty much built like all Dewalt tools. If you own any Dewalt tools, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have the planer and that thing is built tough as well. So definitely not disappointed. It's kind of heavy, especially when you put the battery into it and you hold it, but I like the weight on it. You know, it lets you know that, hey, I have a powerful tool in my hand. That's how I feel when I'm utilizing this tool. Not only built powerful, but number two, this thing is powerful. I remember using it on some white oak earlier when I got it, and this thing was cutting through it like it was butter. If I tried that same thing with my circular saw that I have, that thing would have stopped. There's no doubt about it. So I have footage of me cutting through a butcher block. I know it's not the same thing, but that thing just went through it like it was nothing. And I was barely cutting through it. I should have moved a little bit more faster to really test the limits. But with that said, this thing is a beast, and I don't know what it can't cut through. Maybe steel, but we're not going to test that out. I wouldn't recommend it. Number three on the list is a swiveling dust port or moving dust port. I love that you can, turn this around to pretty much whichever angle that you want, because having to haul this shop vac hose around if it was in one fixed position, that would be kind of annoying. So if you're someone who have your dust system, hooked up in your ceiling and it's kind of coming down, you can angle this up so it won't be an issue for you. So this is one of my favorite things about the saw. And with that said, I would like to thank the sponsors of today's video. And the sponsors are a totally made up company called Young Long Last Forever. I'm not sure where they're sold. Like I said, it's a totally made up company. But if you don't have Young Long Last Forever, or you can't afford it, like me, make sure that you wear proper dust mask and make sure you have a proper dust collection system, because if you don't, I'm going to read off a list of things that can happen to you, especially if you're working in the shop and there's a bunch of cutting going on, you're using your track saw, all these small dust going in your lungs. Let me read off a few things that can happen to you. Shortness of breath, lung disease, lung cancer, heart disease, and the big D, death. Because I know how your minds are, death. So we don't want that. I don't want you to have any of these things. So please make sure you wear your proper masks to protect yourself from all these potential diseases. Not saying you can't get them anywhere else. You for sure can get them other places, but protecting your nose could definitely save a lung or two. So thank you, Young Long Last Forever, for sponsoring today's video. The next reason why I absolutely love this saw is that compared to other track saws, we only need one battery. Only one battery. We have the 6 amp flex volt max 60 volt, that's a mouthful, lithium ion battery. We just need one of these to throw on our track saw, and it will last a hot minute. I don't actually know how long it actually lasts, because every time I've used it, I've never ran out of juice before, and whenever I use it, I just plug it back in. You can test the battery right here to see what level it's at. but I've never ran out of this. And granted, I'm not doing a lot of cutting throughout the day, but with, if that happens, they do send a fast charger with this, so it takes less than like 30 to 45 minutes to charge up. So the number 5 reason why I love this track saw is because of the anti-kickbacks. Yes, kickbacks. That's plural, that they included in this saw. First, let's talk about the tension knob. There is a tension knob underneath the saw, on top of the base plate, where if you release it, this thing will prevent the saw from going backwards. So you'll see right here how I'm, moving the saw to and from, sliding it, and it's working fine. Now, if I release said knob, I will only be able to go forward and can't, reverse. Yeah, so this prevents the saw from kicking back on you, or it's a step. So that's pretty amazing. The other thing that they included is this riving knife. While I am a little skeptical about this riving knife because it's not parallel to the saw, like it's not straight with the saw. You won't be able to see it as well on camera, but this thing is not, it's not very straight, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Should I be worried about that? I was thinking I'm going to take it off and try to like maybe hammer it out to get it straightened, or perhaps just order another one, because this cannot be safe. I don't think this is safe. 6th reason why I love this track saw is that there is a wheel on top where you can adjust the speed setting. It goes from 1 all the way through 7. Now, I don't know why I would need to adjust the speed setting on the saw, on a track saw. Maybe it has to do with the various types of wood. I don't know, but I'll play a short clip for you so you can hear what it sounds like going through the different stages. The last reason why I love this track saw is that you're able to do mitered cuts on this thing. You can angle it all the way off to 47 degrees. But honestly, for me personally, I won't be cutting anything, making any angled cuts on, with this track saw. I'll definitely be making them on my table saw or my miter saw, whatnot. So yeah, it's great to have just in case I need it, but I don't think I'll be utilizing it. All right, so those are all my reasons why I freaking love this track saw. Now, let's go into the haters and see why they hate this saw. But before we continue, would you consider hitting that, that circular thing, or no, it's not circular anymore. Was it ever circle? I don't know. Can you hit that subscribe button for me and hit that like button? I really appreciate it. I know it's like nothing for you to do, but it means so much to me and it helps this channel out. This is not in any list per se, from best to worst or worst to worser, worserest. That's not a real word, I don't think. I just put them on there. So if you want to put them in order, you can in the comment section. Actually, I encourage it. So, no positive stops on this thing. There are no positive stops. Like, on certain saws, when you're going a certain depth, there is some kind of positive stop, especially for plywood. Do like an inch positive stop, right? So we're not, trying to finagle with this this crazy knob idea that they came up with. It's not the smartest, I don't believe. I wish it had like arrows, but I think Dewalt's just daring to be different. But let me not get distracted. Yeah, there are no positive stops, and I think we need that not only for the plunge action, but also for the angled action, especially the angled option when I'm trying to do a 45. Like I said, this thing goes all the way to 47. So why didn't we just include a positive stop so it clicks right at that 45 angle? So I'm not like wondering, if this is correct, because I'm trying to read their system and it's a pain in the butt. Well, it was a pain in the butt. Now I think I figured it out. But a positive stop would have been helpful, Dewalt. So the other thing that I do not like about this is that, well, most track saws actually, they come with a empty it's like a port right here. It's completely useless. I'm not sure if they put that there so you can see the blade spinning inside, but that, you know, that's just a wasted opportunity to improve your dust collection. So this was given to me by woodworkers. I reached out to him and he was very kind. Drew from woodworkers, he was very kind to send me these items, you know, so I can provide a review on it. And after using this track saw for, like I said, over 6 months, I can see the dramatic improvement because I covered this up. How I used to use it in the past was just put a tape over it, and that did a pretty good job. But this just looks, you know, much like, it looks neater and more professional. I feel like I'm a real carpenter, I think. He also sent me these end guards for the track. You know, this is to help it like stay protected, you know, during storage or during travel or whatnot. He also sent me this cool gadget where you put it on the end of the track saw while you're cutting, and it kind of guides the hose. It's a brilliant idea, and I think it's amazing. When I was using the saw though, my dust port was pointed up. So my hose was pointed up. I wish I pointed it downward so you can actually see the hose being guided by that hose guide. I'm gonna call it that. Drew, if I'm wrong, you know, let me know in the comments. But if you even watch this video. Thank you, Drew from woodworkers. And by the way, this video is inspired by Drew's video. So if you want to check his video out more, he goes into depth and he touches on some interesting things. So you should go ahead and check that out. And I also put a link in the description to his website for these things right here. It's like a little package. You know, just go ahead and grab it. I promise you, if you own this saw or any track saw, actually, I think he got items for Festool, Milwaukee, or Makita, or whatnot. He got them for all of them. So make sure you check out his channel. The next thing that I think people really don't like about the saw is that, you know, of course, we can make angled cuts, which we already talked about, which is a plus. But then the downfall is that whenever you, you know, tilt this to make your cut, if you're not holding on to it, this thing may tip over on you. And it's not going to tip over with the track. It's going to tip over and the track is just going to be sitting there. I feel like if it was better if the track, if it kind of hooked onto the track and kind of, you know, took the track with it in some sense. But no, it's just going to go over by itself. I think it tried to kind of stick to the track, but as you can see in this video, it just kind of just tipped over without the track. So that's another reason why I think people hate this. And you know, I'm probably nitpicking here because more than likely, if you have your track saw at a 45-degree angle, you're probably going to hold on to it and not let it go. So you know, I may be just pushing the needle here a bit, but I wish it just stuck to the track. Now, I think this is the #1 reason why people hate this track saw. And this is where I'm at odds with them. Like you'll watch, I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of different videos before you got to mine about track saws, but the plunging on this thing is, it's a bit different. Like I said, Dewalt dare to be different. Notice how it plunges and it goes kind of forward and down at the same time, forward and down at the same time. Other saws, when they plunge, they just go straight down, which would make sense, right? But Dewalt, they just kind of, you know, they plunge forward and then they're just leaving this, you know, awkward piece of wood, you know, that's caught between the saw blade and let's just call it the fence, the back end of the caging, just there looking like, hey, what about me? You know, I need to get cut. And then you gotta move the track back and cut it. However, I know how to achieve the cut that I want with this saw. So I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I think if you probably gave me a Festool saw or another one, I'll probably mess that up. Oh, I just realized that my light went off back there. What the heck? Rude. Back to what I was saying. If you'd given me a Festool to use, it will probably take an adjustment period for me to know how to use that Festool Festool. All right, that Festool track saw, you know, the plunge goes down, and I think that's the way it's supposed to be, honestly. But I think I'm a Dewalt fanboy. I don't know. Granted, this is the only tool, along with the planer, that I own that is Dewalt. But I'm a wannabe fanboy. I have Craftsman. Yeah. Say what you want to say about Craftsman, but that thing has been around before both of our grandparents, I think. Anyways, and the last thing on my list, and before I go to the last thing, you know, what I would like for you guys to do, if you've been here this long, that means a lot to me. So if you're still here, do me a favor and type YLLF.com. YLLF.com. Totally made up, but it just shows me who's here. And I know it's going to confuse a lot of people, like, wait a minute, why are they typing YLLF.com? Let's confuse them. But yeah, younglungsLastForever.com. Not a real website. I looked it up, it's fake. All right, the last thing that really got me, that people hate about this saw, is that you have to basically marry the track saw to the track. And I know you're gonna say, well, you have to do that with every track saw. Sure, but you don't have to do it like this. Again, Dewalt dares to be different. So you need either a screwdriver or an Allen key, as well as your fingers kind of at the same time to loosen and tighten and shift and move, because the goal is that your track saw shouldn't be like moving on the rack. It should be stuck in place. But then you can't get it too tight, because if you get it too tight, I said stuck in place, but it should be able to move on the track. You can tighten this where it's like it can't move at all either way on the track. So you got to make sure you find that sweet spot, and you have to do it to the one in the back and the one in the front. So I think this part was a little bit unnecessary. What I think DeWalt should have done is made it so that this track saw just came out of the box married to the track, right? Unless I'm missing something here, because I paid a terrible cost. I got this out of the box while I was working on the deck. I whipped it out and I started cutting through, not realizing that there was some wobble on the track. And this thing ate up that track so much. Like you'll see like little bite marks or little cutting marks on the track saw, simply because I learned too late that it was out of the box. You have to marry it to your track saw. That was and could have been a very expensive mistake. Luckily for me, I bought these replacement splinter guards, which I'll, obviously put down below in the description. And I'll put everything that I've talked about, including the track saw, even the track. I'll put everything down in the description, so go ahead and check it out. Those are going to be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra, but I do get a little 2 or 3% commission from said purchases. Yeah, I bought some replacement splinter guards that I replaced on the ends, and that kind of fixed it for me. So I'm good. I'm good there. But yeah, if you don't marry your track saw to your track, you're kind of out of luck. And then DeWalt again dares to be different by making their track saw, I guess, a two-way track, so you're able to cut on both sides of the track. Why would we need to cut on both sides of the track? I've never been in a situation where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cut this side, and oh, let me just turn this around and cut the other side. That's never happened for me. Has that ever happened for you? If it has, also sound off in the comment section so I can know. I tell you, DeWalt just dares to be different, which I appreciate, right? I appreciate the creativity that they're giving us. So there you have it, the list of things that I think the haters hate, and the things that the lover, myself, love about this track saw.